Hello, everyone. Oh my goodness, it is such a big day, this wonderful Tuesday. I'm so excited with so far how the Author Success Planning Fest is going. I hope you guys are loving what you're getting out of it, and I hope that it's helping you not just be more productive, but really take a look at your writing and take a look at where it is going. So, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to interview Michelle Kampmeyer, also known as Mickey Reed, and she created this lovely journal here, Daily Q&A. It's a journal for positivity, kindness, and productivity. I love that. And it's the author edition. So I'll be reviewing this tomorrow, but for now I want to bring her on. So let me just see. If you're on here, Michelle, go ahead and comment. Let's see, guest request. Let's see, go ahead. Oh, there we go. I see you. There she is. Hey, Michelle.
Hey, well, I'm like
How
weirdly
are you
stretched out.
doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Just making sure everything's set here. And hopefully everybody watching this is enjoying, and don't worry, we're going to kick this party off right. So how has it been? I saw you, it seems like a million years ago now, but not that long ago, in
I know
Arizona.
it's been a little bit, but not that long.
It really hasn't. It feels almost like yesterday, but it feels like a really long time, that weird, like, kind of in between thing.
Yep,
So we had such a great breakfast that day. It was so good to
that
meet you.
was. Yes, it was a beautiful day. I remember coming home. I was like, wow, I was there for so long, but it felt like nothing, and it felt like hanging out with best friends. It was really great.
Yes, it was so awesome. It was wonderful. So, any of you out there that have chance to meet up with your writer friends from online, definitely do it. So,
Yep.
so I'm going to go ahead and kick off this interview and kind of expand on what you talked about yesterday in your bio. And first, I just want to say, I love this cover. And you said your
Thank
husband,
you.
right? So, did
Yeah, he
he
does.
source some stock, or did he draw like the typewriter and stuff?
Oh, that would be lovely. No, that was totally stock image.
Awesome. Well, I think it's beautiful. He did a great job. So give him a
Thank
high five.
you. I will.
Awesome. So I wanted to ask, first off, what got you into journaling in the first place? Because I know you said you were looking for a specific kind of journal that led you to create this journal, but what got you into journaling to begin with?
That's a good question. It actually goes pretty far back to like my aunt. My aunt Kathy, she always bought me a journal for my birthday or Christmas, like a blank, nice journal with a hardcover and the spiral rings. And I used to love just like brain dumping, just like writing. Hey, I don't know, excuse me, dude. He's always got to come say hi when I'm on a video chat. I just love to like a teenage girl does, writing out her day or what happened or what boy she talked to or whatever. So I started out doing like diary type journaling. And then as I got older, it kind of fell away. But the more I dive into like personal development and that kind of thing, the more journaling really comes up as like a thing that people do really often. So I was looking for something specific, but I couldn't find it. So I thought I would make it.
I love that because I did the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's sometimes, I think that's the wonderful thing about self-publishing is that if there's not something out there and we know we need it, there's probably other people who could use it
Yep.
too and who need it. And I think that's why it's just amazing that we're at this point where we can do this. And there isn't
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
no one to say the market's not big enough, none of that. We can just go ahead and provide.
Yep.
Hi, Anna, good to see you. So, number two, why did you feel like this type of journal would be especially helpful to authors?
What I like about the journals that I've created in general is that they ask you the same questions every day. So I think you're able to see growth over time when you're focusing on certain things. So in this one, you can write down your word count. Actually, I have it right here so I could make sure I was sourcing it right. So you can talk about how your writing day went or how your writing session went. You can mark down a favorite line that you wrote, which is kind of fun. You can also talk about things that you did for yourself, because I know as authors we feel rushed or pressured to keep going and going and do more and more and more. So I do want to always focus on the self-care things that we can do. And then you can write down your goal for the next day. So you can always go back through this and see how far you've come, which is really nice. I don't think we necessarily do that as much. And you can just keep track of a lot of things, and then always three things you're grateful for, because I think focusing on the gratitude keeps us more positive. Maybe we want to write even more than we did before. Yeah,
I love that. And I love the gratitude aspect too. I think that's one of the things I include in the ATA group is every Sunday we talk about what we're grateful for and we share as a group because it's so important to realize that no matter how your week went, we have to stop and have gratitude for all that we do have and all that did
absolutely.
go.
Yeah.
So next, what type of writer would you say the daily Q&A author edition is best for?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, well, the first thing that came to mind is someone who writes every day, but that's not necessarily true because there's a part of the top for dates. You could write, whenever, even if you only use this once a week or whatever. It does have a 30-day check-in that's different, so you can talk about if you've hit your goals and all that kind of stuff. So maybe someone who has a specific goal or a specific book that they're working on right now that they want to track their growth through over time. Someone who really likes to yeah, keep track of that kind of stuff. I think if that's important to you as you grow your author business, or if it's something you want to continue to focus on with your growth, this would be really good for them.
Yes, absolutely. I really think you hit something important. I think with Nano coming up, this could be really helpful for a lot of writers. I think to kind of expand on what you said, trying to build that habit and maybe has to build that habit because having this right here on your desk is your daily reminder like hey this really is important to me and it's kind of like a commitment and then having to go through and I, while it's positivity and, there's gratitude and positivity emphasized, I think it also is part of holding ourselves accountable that in like a really healthy way about, hey, did I write as much as I intended? Well, not quite those words, but you know what I mean. Did I
Yeah.
write like two? And then if I don't like that number, then what am I going to do about it today or tomorrow? Right?
Yeah, accountability is a great word for it. Personal, holding ourselves personally accountable for the actions we've taken in the day. We can't control everything, so we're gonna have some bad days, and that's okay. But this allows you to make a note of that. Be like, you know what, I really didn't write as much as I wanted to because, and you actually have a reason instead of I was just procrastinating or I didn't feel like it, because we have those days too. So you can
Yeah.
make those kind of notes and take a look over time and keep track of all that stuff.
Absolutely. I love that. And I think accountability sometimes in a group setting can be really helpful, but sometimes it's also hard in a group setting to say, well, I just didn't feel like it and I don't want to admit that even to
Right?
myself, admit it to everybody else that,
Yep.
today I called myself lazy or something.
Right.
But
At least with
this,
this, yeah, it's personal. No one's gonna see it.
you know, this is a private place to have that conversation with
Yep.
myself. Say, did I follow through with my commitment to writing and to finishing this book or to finishing a book or to, finishing the short stories and everything else,
Yep.
So great accountability.
Yeah.
Can you share some of I've got a cat here
Yeah,
too.
you do
Also,
too.
she loves coming up here whenever I'm here and now
Yep.
she's messed up. But can you share maybe some of your favorite feedback that you've had from writers about using the author's edition of Daily Q&A?
Ooh. Um, Honestly, I haven't heard a whole lot. To be frank, this is something that I really haven't marketed super much. I
Yeah.
just kind of like threw it up there. Marketing has never been my strong suit, so I have no idea. I've like handed them out to some friends, or I've sold some at like book signings and whatever, but no one's really said a whole lot.
Well, we got to get on that.
I
So
know.
everywhere
I
you get
know.
your, we'll all leave reviews together, okay?
Yay,
And
thank you.
on video tomorrow. And then, of course, I'll go ahead and post that because I definitely hit the $50 threshold for Amazon.
Oh, yes. Yes. Sometimes
So
I
I'll
do that in a
have it
day.
on Amazon tomorrow for you.
Thank
So
you.
sure, that on there. I mean, come on, we need reviews in order to make sure, we're giving, providing everything that we can. And, that's why I love, involving the community when I'm about
Hmm.
to create a new edition of the Ultimate Authorship Planner or the dated yearly planners, because I want to know what's working, what doesn't work, what do we need more of or less of, and without feedback, we can't figure that out. So you guys get your feedback to Michelle, quick, quick, quick. So, and the best way to figure it out is to try it out.
Yeah, please.
So, and what is one thing you can share with our writers today that you think they can take action on immediately to implement this kind of thing, even without purchasing the journal? But if there was just one thing you could teach people to start doing today that would improve or smooth their road to success or positivity along their road to success, what would it be?
So the first thing that came to mind is keeping track of your word count. And I know that it's not advice for everybody, but I think especially if you're just starting, it's something to track so that you can see your improvement over time. I think we are, like, as a culture or society, we are so obsessed with being productive and busy and busy. And I think that if we remember that this is a journey, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So if we keep track of all those little tiny pockets where maybe we only got 100 words in one day and maybe the next day was 200, it adds up over time. And I think keeping track of that so that you can see when you wrote, you can maybe go, okay, I'm looking at my calendar, and on Tuesdays, for whatever reason, I write a whole lot more than any other day. Then maybe to plan a little bit extra time on Tuesday to write a little more. There's
Yeah,
so much value in knowing some of those metrics that can help you improve over time.
I am all about that. I love metrics. So
Yes.
that's why so yeah, I mean, really, self-analysis is the only way we can really improve, because change has to come from within first,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
It's not dependent on our outside factor, external factors, or our environment, because there's so many things that we can change. If you don't like writing on your couch, go lay in bed and write, or something
Hmm.
else. There's so many things, little things we can change to um, improve our road to hitting our goals, like finishing a book or crossing the finish line for NaNoWriMo. And that's, again, I think this anybody who struggles with NaNoWriMo, I think this is going to be your best friend during NaNoWriMo, because it's daily Q&A, and of course we're going to get that month review. So
Yep. Yeah.
I really
November's only 30 days, right? So it's going to be perfect if you start November 1st.
exactly. And what is your experience with NaNoWriMo?
I think the first time I started was 2013, and it was so. I started my editing business the year before, and by the following year, I was able to quit my full time job and edit full time. But I quit on Halloween. That was my last day, and of course, Nano starts the next day. And I was terrified that all of my editing clients would completely leave me now that I didn't have that safety net anymore. Like, it was an irrational fear, but I was worried about it. So I thought, well, I might want to start writing that book that I've said I was always gonna write. So I started November 1st, 2013. Didn't win because I was too busy with editing, which was great actually. But I did Nano the year after, and I won that year. I'm a little foggy on the details. I've pretty much done it, I think, every year. I'm not this year, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. And what did you do to keep track of your word count during that? Did you just use the built-in tool, or did you have any external tools that you used?
Oh, yeah. I think for the first couple of years, I just used the actual website. But after that, I either created or used other people's spreadsheets that they'd created. I love spreadsheets. They're amazing. They can keep track of so much information and make pretty little graphs, and it's it's really fun to watch the number grow over time. So I've mostly used either their website or other spreadsheets.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved doing my local Nano meetup. Our municipal leaders would create these little calendars on index cards, and you could fill them in with stickers for each day that you hit your word count goal.
Oh, fun! That's
It's
neat.
like a little extra incentive to, if you're OCD, to
Yeah.
fill it with stickers.
I get that. I feel that. That's funny.
I love it. So, so are you creating any other author journals next?
It's not anything specific on the docket right now. I just launched a podcast, so I'm focused more on that whole thing, and that's not necessarily tailored to authors. Although I toyed with the idea of also doing an author podcast. That's kind of like on the back burner. So if I do that, that would definitely be something that a journal would come along with because why not? So no, not necessarily specifically, no.
Okay, what's your podcast about?
Oh, it's called Discover Yourself, and
Oh,
that's basically what it's about. I've been doing a lot of working with a coach this year, really realizing between coaches and this author planning course that I took that I was not really working toward my own goals. I was working toward goals that other people set that I thought I needed to achieve because that's what was out there. And so peeling all of that back and really digging deep into who authentically I am has made me do this podcast where I can talk about different topics that relate back to finding who you are as an authentic, like yourself. Who is that person, and helping other people hopefully peel back some of their own layers and take a look at some of the stuff that they do in their lives that maybe does not feel as authentic as it could.
yeah, absolutely. Because some goals can be like external validation,
Mm-hmm.
and that can be, I think, more harmful sometimes than helpful.
Yeah.
So kind of goals like maybe USA Today bestseller.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because it's the same goal so many other authors have,
Right.
or?
That's kind of like the collective feel. Like it seems like when advice goes out there and it works for some people, like specifically for me, it was book a month. Publishing a book a month and staying on that hamster wheel and feeding the machine. I just felt like I plugged in, and that's, what everybody else was doing. So that's what I had to do. I was doing this full time. So I had as much time as this person over here who's doing that with time to spare, but that wasn't taking into consideration anything about myself, how I work, my own timeline that I prefer when I'm writing a book, none of that. And I gave myself zero time to figure that kind of stuff out because I was feeding the machine on the hamster wheel. So I had to really take a huge step back and try to figure out what my own goals were instead of just hitting other people's. Hey, I'm sorry, my dogs are barking. Hey, it's okay. No, it's okay. You might calm down in a second.
My
If
cat's
it's
like
not the
wondering where that's
cat, yeah,
coming.
it's the dog.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
So,
sorry, my
and
TV's done.
part of that, so you said you had to take a step back. Was that because of burnout?
Yes,
Yeah.
100%, absolutely. I hit burnout, and it was crazy because I thought I was doing the right thing. Like even though I was listening to other people's advice, I was narrowing my stuff down. Like I have 3 different pen names, and I focused just on one. So I thought, okay, well, I'm doing the right thing here. I'm focusing my energy just on the one name, not trying to spread myself too thin. But it's still, even focusing on that, it still wasn't what I wanted to do in the end. I didn't want to write that fast. I didn't want to only write in one genre. So yeah, I hit burnout really hard because I was just nose to the grindstone, working as hard as I possibly could, and it came on strong. So
Yeah. Yeah, because health wise, it has so many negative
yep,
effects. Felt
yeah,
that
I
very
was
much
definitely.
in my master's degree and trying to do
Mhm.
everything else. So I definitely understand that. And I double tracked or fast tracked my bachelor's degree too. So
Yeah, you have been on fire, lady.
yeah, I know. And now I'm like, after Vegas, I'm taking a break.
Good idea.
Much of one as I can take, with my personality.
Yeah,
But
I
I
feel
know
you.
I'm interested in too is when we're kind of in that cycle where we're trying to live up to expectations that we've seen other people set because they say it
Mhm.
works. It's how they became successful. And this whole festival is about planning for our success. So during that time, and of course, having these goals that were kind of external versus internally motivated. Were you journaling a lot? What kind of self care were you able to do, or did you kind of keep putting it off to the back burner?
It was definitely off to the back burner. And I think that's why I was able to do it for so long, is because I wasn't facing it. I knew in the back of my head that if I took a minute to just think about, is this really what I want to be doing? I was going to find out that no, it wasn't what I wanted to be doing. But I felt like I needed to live up to other people's expectations. Or I felt like, even in my marriage, and this is one of the things that I've had to dive into because it had zero to do, absolutely zero to do with my husband. But I felt like if I'm not making money or X amount of money, or I set this big goal of being the one who like makes more money than he does so he can quit his job and work like the business that he's cultivating right now, that if I didn't hit that goal right away, because other people were already making more than that, like all I needed to make was that, but people are up here doing the same thing I'm doing. Now I felt like a failure because I wasn't doing the same thing, and he was just like, I just want you like happy. Like this is not
Yeah.
making you happy. It's okay to stop. But I was so deep in it, not taking care of myself. Exercise was like not a thing in my life. I ate whatever my husband made, and luckily I really like smoothies, so I would get like some fruit in my diet during the day, but like I would either overeat because I was bored with what I was doing, or I would undereat because I was trying to stay so busy. Yeah, there weren't a whole lot of breaks, like not
And
fun.
it's about that proper nutrition and enough rest and a modicum of happiness, like
Mhm.
real faked happiness. I mean, how does the did you feel like the quality of your writing suffered or the quality of your stories?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I felt like it, and it took me toward the end. It started hitting in like June or July. Um, Toward the end, I it took so long to write one book. Like, and I can comfortably write a book in a month. That's not a problem. Like, as long as I'm writing what I enjoy, and I do it full time, so that's not a huge deal. But it was adding everything else in, because, like I said, marketing has never been my strong suit. But I was doing the things that were helping me make some money, so I was seeing some progress. Um, and even when I published those books that I felt like I was writing during burnout, where I felt like it was like pulling teeth, or I just didn't feel like it was as good as it could be, it seemed like no one really noticed. Like no one was like, "Oh man, she really rushed this one," or "This didn't come out." Like I never heard any of that. So it was almost like this. Okay, well then it's just in your head kind of thing. Like you're the only
Yeah,
one who feels like this is
yeah.
sucking. Like why,
So
So
it kind of it gave you your own seeds of doubt, that lack of
right, exactly.
care, that lack of good nutrition, and
Yeah, these things that I know in my core are basic to being alive and thriving. Like I was ignoring so much of it.
yeah, and I think that brings up a little point. Like you said, you don't want to just survive, you want to thrive doing
Mm-hmm.
what you
Yes.
love. And I see a lot of people, they try to do that book a month. And while it is possible for some people, it can
Mm-hmm.
also burn you out, or people will work so hard for that goal, which is an
Mm-hmm.
externally created goal. And then they just don't enjoy it anymore. They lose their joy for writing. They get writer's block, which, we can all get blocked on a story, but I can never imagine running out of story ideas,
Right.
So, and I think that's the point when you just get sick of it, or you get tired, or maybe you wrote a book a month for a year and there's not the profit you thought you would be seeing,
Yeah.
and that can have a negative effect, a negative impact on your writing career as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was as I was like sliding into burnout, where other people who I'd been looking up to, who were writing a book a month, were like secretly going through the same thing and not really talking about it. And I was like, well, that's messed up. I'm going to talk about it. Like I'm in a burnout. Like it's okay. These apparently were my goals. I didn't realize that that's what was going on. But now that I have, I can do something better. And I think if we talk about this, and I know Becca Syme, she's been talking about this a lot on her Quitcast, which is funny because she was posting those burnout videos right when I was going through it. So I can't tell you, like someone told me to watch one, and I turned it on, and my husband was home, and it's never like he doesn't believe me, but he's not the creative like we are. I don't think he quite grasps the idea of what burnout is, or like why can't you just type on your computer? I'm like, that's not really how it works. So I would be watching these videos with him and like just crying, like someone's explaining my brain, like this is what's happening. It's not just made up. It's not something I'm feeling that's not true, because other people don't seem, they're just like
I'm not
push through,
saying
or
I'm
What
not
was that?
weak.
Right, right, right. I'm not making this up. This isn't like, I'm not just like feeling like I don't want to do it. It's legit that I can't. This has to stop. So, but other people weren't really talking about it, but they were definitely going through it. I get a private message like, "Oh wow, yeah, I've been feeling like that too." And I've been, I'm on the hamster wheel just trying to keep up with everybody else or, whatever. And it really does work for some people and they kill it and that's amazing. But I know some of the people that were doing it when I was trying to start had been doing it for a year, 4 years, like, but I was making myself on day one feel like I needed to be who they were with their years of experience. And, we don't always balance those kinds of things. We don't always take the time to say, hey, you know what? This person has been doing this for so long. That's not something I need to live up to today. We don't grow into some of the goals that we have, or some of the goals we have aren't really ours. They're just what everybody else is doing, and we feel like we need to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's so good that you bring that up. And things like your journal, I think, can help us cut through some of that stuff when we have to reflect daily on what
Yeah.
we're writing and really think about it. We're gonna have to have that come to Jesus moment with,
Mm-hmm.
wait a minute, am I happy? Is this somebody else's goal? Am I really attached to this goal, or did I just put it out there because that's what I heard other people say? You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Exactly. I think there's definitely, it's that level of personal accountability that we have to take into consideration, because I was definitely not doing that. I didn't have time to journal. Like, I didn't have time to do all this kind of stuff because I was so busy doing everything else. But if I had, probably would have figured this stuff out a whole lot sooner and saved me some pain and some crying and some time where I was doing nothing. Like, it was useful. I'm glad I went through it because I can talk about it now and hopefully help people either not go through that or while they're going through it. But
Yeah.
yeah, this would have been like a lifesaver.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So that brings me to the next question. Do you use your daily Q&A every
I
day?
haven't. I haven't in a while because I haven't been writing. And I don't. This isn't my copy. This is one that I had for sale. But it was helpful when I was using it. I just, when I hit my burnout, was like the middle of July to the middle of August, and in the middle of August I wrote another book, but I just like got through it, kind of like that wasn't super fun.
Yeah, because
Um,
we talked in July
mhm.
about burned out.
Yep. And then I went on a writer's retreat with two of the friends that I check in with like every day on Slack. And even that, I was like, hey, you know what? I'm not writing right now. I can't even check into this. Like, it's not like, I don't want to use the word triggering, but that's kind of what it was. It was like, it would make me feel all of this guilt and like, oh, I should be doing this. I should. So the short answer right now is no, because I'm not writing. But I have my morning routine edition, which could be
Ooh.
also useful for authors. Yeah, if you have some kind of morning routine. So I've been using this one, and it's got like a little place for actual, just regular journaling.
Oh yeah.
And then the three things you're grateful for, as always. But it's got like a to-do list. So this is the kind of journaling that I'm doing right now.
Well, that's awesome. It sounds like a great way to kind of get your head back in the game and uh,
Yeah.
around what you really want, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I had some ideas even before, like as I was trying to write all of this sweet. I was writing sweet romance under my pen name. Um, I liked writing the stories, but that's not the only thing I like to write. And having to put them all under these different pen names and kind of be like a part of myself in all of these different places never really allowed me to be all of myself. And now that I know who that is and I like professionally want to be that person, it'll be nice to just be Michelle Campmeyer in a place. But using some of the tools that I've created, using other people's tools, it's definitely helped me try to figure out where I want to go next, or like what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I love hearing that. So do you have any final words of wisdom?
Ooh. Yeah, I think just along the lines of what we've been talking about, I think we need to take a pause and figure out if the things we're working toward are really the things we want to be working toward. Are they making you happy, or are you stressed in the moment and it'll be worth it in the end? Truly, like truly. Or is this just you feel like you're plugged into the machine and you're spinning your wheels trying to figure out how to do what other people are doing? Like, if you want to
Yeah.
do those things, if you want to write a book a month, if you want to whatever your goal is, that's where I'm stuck right now. But if you want it, whatever you want to do, as long as that's what you truly deep down want to do and you enjoy it and you love it, then that's amazing. But if you don't, question it and figure out how you can tweak it to make your life better, because this is your life now. Like, if you want to be a writer forever, it needs to make you happy in some way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's so many things to say with that, but I mean, why waste any of our precious time doing something that's not really ours? You
Yep.
know,
Yep, I agree.
that we're not gonna get to the end and go, woohoo, we're gonna go, okay, the
Right,
next.
right. Take a moment to celebrate too. I think, we're always so focused on what comes next, like you were saying, but if we ever take a moment to, and maybe that's something I should add to the next edition of this, but like, how can we celebrate those things we've already accomplished? Do we ever take a moment to maybe go out to dinner to celebrate, or take the afternoon off, or whatever it is? Sorry, can you hear the plane?
Yeah.
I live by an Air Force, but it's dogs, cats, or planes. That's what happens here.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just take a breath, like take a moment to maybe make a list of the things you've accomplished this week, this month. Do you have that in your
I
planner?
do.
Okay, good. I was gonna recommend it because I have the old version, but definitely keep a success list or a celebration list or whatever you want to call it, to look back at all the things you've already done and be like, man, I did that. That's amazing. And that kind of gives you the oomph to keep going. But as long as it's your dream, then it's worth it.
Exactly. As long as it's your dream and you've thought about it and it's not something that's totally externally motivated and,
Mm-hmm.
more internal, I think that's really the definitive piece right there. Is it just
Yep.
because that's what you see everybody else doing or wanting or shooting for, or is it because you think that would fit the kind of life you really want to live?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So awesome, awesome.
Yay.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this time, and especially these last little tidbits you had for us. So track your word counts, guys,
Yes.
and take a moment to celebrate your successes and pat yourself in the back. Don't just rush to the next thing. I have little rewards for myself, and because I'm trying to get trim for Vegas, trying. No, um, you know, I've gone away from food rewards and I've done more like, okay, when I get this done, I'm going to play a little bit of, my video game, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to go do this thing, or I'm going to paint. I actually got some,
Oh, that's
and
amazing.
I'm not really an artist, I think, but I got some watercolor brush pens from Arteza. And when I need to stop and like take a moment away and say, hey, I've been working really hard, I've been really stressed out, sometimes I'll grab a glass of wine. And I say that a lot, but I hardly finish my wine. So I don't actually finish a lot of the wine I pour. I mostly just waste wine. So, but anyway, no, I will sit down with the brush pens, and it's funny because then my kids would sit down with me, and then all the neighborhood kids were in the back of my pickup truck, all with this special watercolor paper that's like $15 a
Oh
pad,
my
and
gosh.
my watercolor brush pens, which are amazing. And I'm actually going to start making like kind of appreciative little paintings for my friends and people.
Oh, that's
Which
beautiful.
every time I complete this big thing or this big task or even a little one and I just need a break, I'm going to that. So
Very cool.
yeah, it doesn't require me to be alone or find a babysitter or have money or put food in my body that I know I shouldn't. It's,
Yeah.
totally different. So
Very cool. I love that. That's
yeah,
amazing.
thanks. So, but talking about what really makes us happy, that, do we really want to live a life where we never have time to do those things or to explore?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what
Yep.
I thought. And my cat is walking on my computer. So anyway, but thank you so much. I can't wait to see what everybody thinks.
Yay.
And one thing I would like to do is for anyone, I think I'll give it to the end of the week, and I'll sponsor a giveaway even though it's your week.
Aw, thank
Anyone who
you.
purchases, and not because you can't leave it a review on Amazon. That's good karma. But if you post a review of the planner here in the group, or in one of Michelle's posts, I will enter you at the end of the week for a set of my favorite pens, my favorite marker pens for just like specifically for journaling. So I will run that giveaway, and anyone who grabs it, for Michelle some reviews. We need some reviews on this thing. But do them right here in the group. And then if you want to do it on Amazon, then that would be great too, because that's good author karma. But
Thank
anyway,
you.
yeah, so post your review here in the group of the Authors Daily Q&A. I will send you these fantastic pens, and you will get to think every day about your goals. And I would even start maybe November 1st.
Mm-hmm. Good idea.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.